welcome back. Now it's time for our daily press review, and we are delighted to have our dear guest, Dr.Saeed, the professor of political sociology. Good morning, Dr. Saeed, and thank you for being with us. And we start our press review from يومي newspaper اليومي. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Tuesday strongly condemned the killing of a Jordanian pilot captured by Daesh, calling the militant group or the terrorist group a savage, cowardly organization that violates all heavenly doctrines. Sisi confirmed Egypt's support to Jordan. At this time, he said that the international community needs to unite to fight terrorism in all its forms and to confront the terrorist groups that use the Islamic slogans, even though religion has nothing to do with the violent and terrorist actions. And we move on to Al-Ahram Online, which tackled the issue. The spokesman of the Jordanian Armed Forces has confirmed the death of the pilot captured by Daesh extremist group and vowed punishment and revenge. Mamdouh al-Amri said in a statement read on the Jordanian television that the military forces announced that the hero pilot, Muaz al-Qasasba, has fallen as a martyr and asked God to accept him with the martyrs. His remarks came after an online video purportedly released by Daesh group appeared to show the captured pilot being burned to death. Of course, I'm speechless regarding this terrorist incident in which we have seen the Daesh terrorist group burned the Jordanian pilot Muaz al-Qasasba to death. So how do you see these developments and this brutality by using the name of Islam? We have seen the videotape using verses from the Holy Quran, and while they are burning the pilot, how is that? How can we reach that level?
As you know, terrorism does not exist without media. ISIL had been trying to attract media attention with the slaughtering of victims. It has become sort of...
but the first time we have seen them burning alive.
That's why they began to do something different. So they want to continue attract media attention. As you know, the oxygen of terrorism is media. And so I have to capture the headlines with something bizarre and strange, shocking, sensational. So it has become, not attractive to, butcher and slaughter and slay victims. Now we do something different, barbecue. Something like that, and then you shock the entire world. And if you see, they had succeeded in capturing media attention all over the world. Nobody on this planet today doesn't
talking about this.
So again, the media strategy is working, and so I have to tell that we know how to play with media, and they are playing well. Now, the reaction of the Jordanian government was very swift and firm. They executed the very quickly, and that is also a message.
But after what? This terrorist female has been sentenced to death 9 years ago or 10 years ago, and she was not executed.
Well, sometimes governments want to bargain and negotiate, and so they issue those court rulings, this sentence, but they never honor them. Many governments do that, and of course it causes trouble. But at any rate, the Jordanian government today set an example that they are very firm and swift in taking decision. Otherwise, it would have led to a lot of domestic problem in Jordan, because he belongs to a big clan inside the Jordanian society. You have to also take into consideration that fighting ISIL is not that popular in Jordanian society. And some, even his family, were demonstrating, why do we go and fight this? This is an American war, not Jordan's war. And so the Jordanian government know very well that it can have a backlash domestically, and it would affect their policy. So they have to take an action very quickly. I hope what the Jordanian government did is also an example to be followed by other governments facing terrorism, that they are very swift and decisive, and not give the impression or encourage terrorism to continue because they feel that there is no reaction from the other side.
Dr. Saeed, before moving on to another news, I was very skeptical about yesterday's scene and one of the photos showing the marcher pilot before being killed, standing with his orange suit, and after him, right behind him, the Daesh army wearing all very neat suits, very well armed. From where do they get these funding?
Of course, this is one of the richest, and as you have mentioned, they are well dressed.
Yes, not like the
No, you have to understand that this is a media game.
Yeah.
And so you have to prepare a good show for YouTube and international media. Yeah. As I mentioned, terrorist organization cannot exist without media. And so the media department in any terrorist organization is the strongest. Unfortunately, in Egypt, mass communication departments and faculties and universities do not teach terrorism and media. Even up till today, despite the fact that Egypt is going through terrorism, it does not have a manual. We don't have a manual for media how to cover terrorism. You don't become the postman of terrorists. In social media, for example, an obscure internet site, you get something from that nobody had seen, and you put it on your Facebook and Twitter and spread it. And so you are your postman, the postwoman.
It's always the case.
And that's why it needs, I'm never tired of saying that we need a committee, a national committee, that would have a counter terrorism national strategy. Up till today, we are only reacting. We don't have a strategy. When I formulate a national counter-terrorism strategy, I'm talking about economic development, education, policy, security, training and professionalism and technology. I'm talking about legal measures, very fast courts system. We cannot stay for 3 or 4 years endless trials that doesn't lead anywhere.
Indeed.
Very
fast trials.
Again, and also actions. You cannot let your officers, soldiers, and citizens being killed and assassinated, and those who kill them are having lengthy trials that doesn't end. Again, you are sending the wrong message to terrorists. You are telling them, do as you like. Our methods will be very long and nothing. And even if they manage to kidnap any officials or soldiers, they can bargain and get their assassins out again.
We have seen an officer in Egypt being kidnapped and killed as well.
I hope now the Egyptian government draws lesson from the Jordanian government action, and we have to...
we need faster, even before the execution of any of our officers.
Lion's milk, and then take action.
And within Masri Al-Yawm, we continue our press review and we read Australia's Prime Minister Tony Abbott told President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi that he appreciated the release of the deporting of Australian Al Jazeera English journalist Peter Grest. In a phone call, Abbott also extended condolences to President Sisi over the killing of at least 30 people in a terrorist attack in northern Sinai last Thursday, and stressed Australia's full support to Egypt in its war on terrorism. Grest, who had been jailed in Egypt for over 400 days on terrorism-related charges, left for his native Australia on